Kyle Frederickson, why don't you start us off today?
Hey, buddy. Raimel just keeps playing so well, especially at the plate. I'm just curious about his demeanor, maybe behind the scenes. How does this guy carry himself? And does he remind you just of any other players that you've coached in the past, just in terms of the way he approaches the game?
Well, behind the scenes, he's from the time he gets to the ballpark, relatively quiet. Really, he's one of the guys that, he's soft-spoken, introspective, but he's got a very good pregame routine with the hitting guys. Prior to going out for batting practice, he does pretty consistent work each and every day we're on the field. He has a nice routine with Ron Gideon, our outfield coach, and his batting practice routine is solid. So I think the consistency prior to the game helps him. It keeps him in a good spot mentally. And once the game starts, there's a competitor in there, right? I think the pitcher hitter battle, he relishes that. He comes to play every day, and he plays at a high level of intensity and energy, which is great. So he's durable. He's got stamina. He's got work capacity. He doesn't tire. So, there's a lot of great attributes to Tapia.
When a guy's riding a hitting streak like this, as a coaching staff, do you change your messaging whatsoever to him? Do you, I don't know, if superstition plays any sort of role in that? It just depends guy to guy?
Well, again, I'm not in the batting cage. Most of the time I'm not in there. I leave that to the hitting coaches and the 12 position players. So I'm not sure if there's any superstitions going on down there, but again, I don't think the messaging changes, especially when a guy's going well, right? If a guy's struggling or slumping, obviously there's some coaching going on there, and to try to get the guy out of a funk. But when a guy's going well, I mean, you really continue to do the things that you do, to ride that streak out as long as possible. You don't really want to do anything that disturbs that. So, Tap's a pretty even-keeled guy, on a regular basis, right? He doesn't really ride the waves of highs and lows. Like I said earlier, pretty quiet guy, pretty consistent demeanor. Smile on his face when you see him. He just gets ready to play, which is, one of the biggest things we ask for is the preparation prior to the game and be ready to play. And he is on top of that for sure.
Gotcha. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
Danielle, go ahead.
Hi, buddy. Is Jon Gray scheduled to do his rehab start tomorrow?
Yes.
Do you know how many pitches he's expected to throw?
Well, he's going to hopefully go around between 60 and 70 pitches, 4 or 5 innings, hopefully.
And with Austin Gomber, you mentioned after his last start that a big part of his struggles early on was, relaxing and getting used to a new team and settling down. How much do you think it's helped him to have Diaz be his catcher in each of his outings lately? Have the same catcher each time?
Well, I don't think that's imperative that happens, but they have had a nice run together. But I'm sure Austin would be the first to tell you, whether it's Dom or Elias, he feels very comfortable with either. But maybe a better question for Gomber. I can't speak for him, but they have a nice. I don't know if streak's the word, but they have a nice relationship working now. I mean, a nice in-game relationship. He's thrown very well the last couple of times, and Diaz is behind the plate. So, there's a great deal of familiarity occurring right now in front of us with those two. So, but I will be the first to tell you that there's going to be games when Dom catches him, and I'll feel as confident with Gomber throwing a good game with Dom as I do with Diaz.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thomas Harding.
Hey, buddy, wanted to circle back to Tapia. What kind of effect do you feel that his plays, especially the hustle plays where he hustles out a double, has on the rest of the team? And also, I'll just start with that part. Do you feel that does kind of help as far as the enthusiasm, excitement, and things?
Well, anybody with speed, Hampton, Tapia, Trevor, those guys come to mind. I think Daza, potentially can be a guy that can make the proper read on a ball. But that, speed is exciting, and making plays with your legs, really picks the group up. Those are, I don't know whether they're hustle plays or just good baseball plays, and speed and speed works. Two of the most exciting things in baseball are speed and power. And, Tap does a great job of using his speed, using his aggressiveness as a batter runner. And it does pick up the group. And same goes with Hampson. Same goes with Trevor.
And as far as he's concerned, also, he has a little bit more experience than a number of guys there. I mean, because you're a pretty young team. Are you seeing any type of thing where what he does, whether by example, whether by word or deed, kind of rubs off on other people?
I think his style of play just naturally rubs off on guys. I think we'd be, if he doesn't play like this, we would notice. But obviously he hasn't and doesn't and will not stop his style of play. But I think the guys, who doesn't like, watching him play. So, that's sort of the expectation that, he's brought to the group, which I think is a good thing, right? I mean, he set a standard for himself, and he set a standard for how, the guys, look at him as a teammate and a player. That's a huge positive.
And with him, and also the way that Charlie has performed, could you see either, both, one go into the All-Star game?
Why not? I think there's still another, few weeks left to let all players in the league show their talents. But I think both those guys, especially if they finish strong here before the All-Star game, and to make an impact on managers and coaches, they definitely have a shot, along with Mac and Trevor.
Yes,
and Bart and Gomber.
Definitely. As far as Jon is concerned, if he's throwing 60 to 70 pitches, are you looking at 2 rehab starts or just 1?
Just 1.
Okay. And what's the latest on Owings?
He's feeling great. Played last night. No problem with the thumb and the hand strength. He's doing well. He's going to play again today, and we'll watch each and every game. We'll get reports from Schaaf and the guys in Triple-A. We'll talk to CO, and we'll gauge where he is. And when we decide what we're going to do with him and what direction to go, he will be the first one to be notified, and then probably whoever else is in the loop here internally, and then we'll get it to you, Thomas.
All right. Is he scheduled out a few more days there as far as
days? More days today and tomorrow, and then we'll see where we go. They play Monday and Tuesday. We're off Monday. We might continue to give him at bats, catch him up.
Beautiful. Thanks, buddy.
You got it.
I'll go to Kevin Henry and then finish up with Owen. Kevin, go ahead.
Hey, buddy, just checking on CJ. It's just a scheduled off day today.
He'll probably be in there in some way. Kevin, as you know, in a National League game, 4-man bench.
Yep.
He'll be in there tomorrow against the lefty. Just, one of those nights where we felt, let's get Josh a start. Let's get Daza back in there. Daza has been starting. Get, Crony's played, I think, every game from Cincinnati until last night. I think it was started every game. So, let's get him off his feet at the start of the game.
And you mentioned Daza, and I was just going to ask about the Tapia effect with him and the 2 spot and how you kind of see that maybe rubbing off on him a little bit.
Well, he's taken that challenge of, being a guy hitting the top of the order, which for us means getting on base, right? Get on base for Charlie, Trevor, and Mac and Crum. I mean, that's the expectation, and he's ran with it, and he's done a great job. He's on base at close to 37%. He's hitting over 300. He's making contact. He's cut down his strikeouts. He's having good at bats, good approach, good at bats. So, we need 2 guys at the top of the order who get on base, and that's no secret. And that's, we like that look of those 2 guys with, the guys I mentioned earlier following those fellows to do some damage. So it's worked out with Dawes. I'm very, very happy, where he is in his game.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, we'll finish up with Owen. Owen, go ahead.
Yeah, buddy, I wanted to follow up on Daza, actually. He's been one of the most consistent players since he's been starting and playing regularly. But I don't know if he's getting attention around the league. Do you get the sense that they've woken up to him yet, that he's on the radar?
Yeah, I hope so. But I'm to your question about are people paying attention? I don't sense that.
Yeah.
Heard his name, but a little bit. I've read it in print a little bit nationally, but not as much as we had hoped. For him, right? He's playing well. It'd be nice to get some acknowledgement, but if you ask him, I mean, he doesn't worry about that, like a lot of players. I mean, some players do. I'd say most players don't. Some players do. But it'd be nice for him to be recognized in some way. He's had a nice, 5 weeks or so, 6 weeks.
Yeah.
He's really done that. I mean, he's played really well, and we're all proud of him down there, the coaches, and the teammates are happy for him. I mean, he's a good guy. He's engaging. The guys love him. He plays with a looseness and flair a little bit, and I think he's getting comfortable. Where I think last year, not so much. I think last year was there was some nervousness, some anxiety early on. He came out of some at-bats that were uncharacteristic, but now he really looks like he's settled in. And there's a calmness to him. There's a self-assurance. There's a confidence. And as you know, success breeds confidence. And he's sort of riding that wave right now. So, let's ride it out, keep it going. But he's doing great.
And that may be the answer to part of my question of, that consistency amidst a lineup that has been streaky at times. People have been hot and cold, but he's been pretty consistent. You see, I mean, is what you just talked about, is that kind of the key for him? Or is there something you see that is helping him show up day to day like that?
Well, I do think the confidence and feeling comfortable is a big part of it. He looks relaxed in the box. Obviously, he's seeing the ball well. And I think, fundamentally, I think his swing is in a really good place. The swing is sort of tailored to hit the ball up the middle. It's right center. If there's something inside, something soft, I think he can pull it. I think yesterday, really, he pulled the trigger on a good fastball in, and he hit it down the left field line. But, most of his hits, as you've noticed, has been up the middle, center field, right center a little bit, straightaway right. I think the last couple hits, I think he rolled the ball through the left side. He's out in front of a breaking ball. But again, I think that for him, he's cut down on his chase rate. He's cut down his strikeouts. He's putting the ball in play, and he has a knack to get the barrel on the ball. It might not be driven, into the gaps or to the wall. He gets his base hits. He gets hits, and that's a big part of this game is getting hits.
And finally, I think he's opening eyes defensively also. Is there a part of his game that you think needs more attention than anything else, or is he just keep doing what he's doing?
Yeah, I think the defensive side is, he's got that covered. He's got, like we've talked about the last few days when we talked about him, good routes, good reads, good jumps. He's got good outfield instincts, got a very good arm, as was evidenced the other day when he threw the runner out of the plate. His technique on charging ground balls is solid. He's sure-handed in the outfield, so defensively he's fine. I think on the hitting side, just improving the chase rate. If the walk rate can increase a little bit, that means he's getting on base more. If there could be a little wider gap between the batting average and his own base, that's something for him to try to achieve that goal of getting on base at a nice rate and not have it only have to be the base hit. So offensively, just again, don't give up at bats. Stay present and focused in that bat. Again, you've heard me say it a ton. Swing at strikes, take balls. He's done a good job of that lately.
Great. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thanks, guys.